Welcome to our channel. Today, we delve into one of the most heart-wrenching and horrifying topics, the death of children in the womb. From medical anomalies to ancient superstitions, the realities of fetal death are both tragic and chilling. Brace yourselves as we explore harrowing facts about this somber subject. Every year, an estimated 2.6 million babies are stillborn, meaning they die in the womb after 20 weeks of pregnancy. Miscarriages, the loss of a baby before the 20th week, occur in about 10 to 15% of all pregnancies. 1 in 160 pregnancies ends in stillbirth. Often without any warning or clear cause. The leading cause of stillbirth is complications with the placenta, which can deprive the baby of oxygen and nutrients. Infections in the mother, such as rubella or syphilis, can cross the placenta and lead to fetal death. Chromosomal abnormalities, such as Down syndrome, can result in miscarriage or stillbirth. Umbilical cord accidents, such as cord prolapse or knotting, can strangle the baby in the womb. Rh incompatibility between mother and baby can cause severe anemia and fetal death if not treated. Severe preeclampsia, a condition characterized by high blood pressure, can lead to fetal growth restriction and death. Congenital birth defects, some of which are incompatible with life, account for a significant number of fetal deaths. Exposure to environmental toxins, such as lead or mercury, can result in miscarriage or stillbirth. Maternal diabetes, if poorly controlled, can increase the risk of fetal death. Smoking during pregnancy doubles the risk of stillbirth. Heavy alcohol consumption during pregnancy can lead to fetal alcohol syndrome and stillbirth. Substance abuse, including cocaine and methamphetamine use, is linked to higher rates of fetal death. Domestic violence and physical trauma to the abdomen can result in fetal death. Maternal obesity is a significant risk factor for stillbirth. Poor maternal nutrition, especially deficiencies in essential vitamins, like folic acid, can lead to fetal death. Certain autoimmune diseases, such as lupus, can increase the risk of miscarriage and stillbirth. Preterm labor, which occurs before 37 weeks of pregnancy, can lead to the death of the baby if born too early. In some ancient cultures, stillborn babies were believed to be cursed or carrying evil spirits. Medieval Europeans often blamed witchcraft or demonic possession for fetal deaths. Some tribes performed rituals to appease the spirits of stillborn babies, fearing they would return as malevolent ghosts. In Japan, mizuko-kyu is a ritual to honor and appease the spirits of miscarried or stillborn babies, believing their spirits need guidance to find peace. Certain African traditions involve burying stillborn babies under the house to protect the family from their restless spirits. In ancient China, stillborn babies were sometimes placed in jars and buried in secret locations to prevent evil spirits from entering the home. In some cultures, women who experienced repeated miscarriages were believed to be cursed or possessed by dark forces. The Greeks believed that stillborn babies' souls wandered in a liminal state, neither alive nor dead, until proper rites were performed. In the 19th century, medical understanding of stillbirth was so limited that many mothers were blamed for their babies' deaths. In Victorian times, it was believed that a mother's sinful thoughts or actions could cause the death of her unborn child. A young couple, Sarah and Michael, who had just moved into a quaint old house on the outskirts of a small town. The house had been empty for years, but its charm and character captured their hearts immediately. Among the rooms, there was one that stood out: a nursery, perfectly preserved as if time had stood still. Sarah, who was 7 months pregnant, felt an inexplicable connection to the room. She began preparing it for their baby, filling it with love and anticipation. But soon, strange things started happening. At first, it was just small disturbances: an old rocking chair moving on its own, the mobile above the crib spinning slowly without any breeze. One night, Sarah was awoken by a soft, mournful cry coming from the nursery. Confused and concerned, she went to investigate. As she entered the room, the crying stopped, and the room fell into an eerie silence. The crib's mobile spun gently, casting unsettling shadows on the walls. On a stormy evening, Sarah decided to confront whatever was haunting the nursery. She sat in the rocking chair, cradling a worn-out teddy bear she had found in the crib. As lightning flashed outside, illuminating the room, she heard the unmistakable sound of a baby crying, only this time, it was right beside her. Terrified, Sarah looked down to see the teddy bear's eyes glowing faintly, and the crying grew louder, more desperate. She felt a cold breeze brush against her cheek, as if a tiny hand was reaching out to her. Overwhelmed by fear and sorrow, she wept, pleading for the spirit to find peace. The next day, Sarah and Michael decided to investigate the history of the house. They visited the local library and discovered an old photograph of a family who had lived there many years ago. In the picture, a couple stood proudly in front of the house, holding a baby wrapped in a delicate blanket. The caption read, "In loving memory of Emily, born sleeping." They learned that the previous owners had lost their baby, Emily, in the very same nursery. Devastated by grief, they had left the room untouched, hoping to preserve their daughter's memory. But Emily's spirit had remained, longing for the life she never had. That night, Sarah and Michael returned to the nursery, bringing with them a candle and a bouquet of white lilies. They placed the lilies in the crib and lit the candle, whispering a prayer for Emily. As the flame flickered, the room grew colder, and the crying began once more, softer this time, almost as if it was saying goodbye. Sarah felt a warmth envelop her, and for the first time, the room felt peaceful. The crying faded into silence, and the air grew still. Emily's spirit had finally found peace, comforted by the love and acknowledgement of the young couple. The nursery never saw another ghostly disturbance. Sarah and Michael welcomed their baby into the world, and the room was filled with joy and laughter. The story of Emily, the stillborn child, became a legend in the small town, a tale of sorrow, love, and the enduring power of a mother's bond. Some legends say that the spirits of stillborn babies haunt the places where they were born, crying for the life they never had. There are chilling tales of mothers who hear the phantom cries of their stillborn babies in the dead of night. Haunted nurseries are said to be places where the spirits of stillborn babies linger, moving toys and whispering in the dark. Certain superstitions warn against preparing a nursery too early, as it might invite death to claim the unborn child. In some rural areas, people believe that the presence of owls signifies impending death for an unborn baby. In some cultures, it's believed that stillborn babies become guardian spirits, protecting the family from beyond the grave. In some parts of the world, access to prenatal care is so limited that preventable causes of fetal death are tragically common. In many cultures, mothers who experience stillbirth face social stigma and blame, compounding their grief. As we conclude this somber journey, let us remember the lives that ended before they could begin and the families left to pick up the pieces. The death of a child in the womb is a profound tragedy, but through awareness, support, and advancements in medical care, we can strive to reduce these heartbreaking losses. Thank you for joining us. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. And to all those affected by such loss, you are not alone.